Hey, it's Jacksnax and welcome back to Helldivers 2. Now today we are trying out what used to be my favourite weapon, and that is the Railgun. However, this thing got heavily nerfed pretty quickly, and from what I remember this was back in March of 2024. So this thing has two firing options, safe and unsafe. It does have a nice little charge up meter on the side of the weapon to let you know when it's getting a little too unsafe. But what people don't actually know is the safe stands for safe for squids, and the unsafe only seems to apply to the Helldiver using it, because the trade-off for the unsafe mode doesn't actually seem to do that much more damage. And there is only a fine line between getting a slightly more powerful shot and this. Why would you put that in the game? I understand it's a little bit of fun, but it's just not worth waiting another 6 minutes for me to call this weapon down again. With the unsafe mode, they could have at least introduced like 3 beeps to let you know it's about to blow up, and then I might be on board with it. So I haven't really picked this thing up since it got nerfed, but I thought I would see if it is still viable or if I could have at least a little tiny bit of fun with this thing. And I did keep getting into this situation from focusing on one medium-sized enemy for a little bit too long. And it was only when pulling out my primary I realised how inefficient and useless the Railgun was against the squids. About the only thing it was useful for against the squids was taking down these jetpack overseers. But again, I'm just spending too long making sure I've aimed at it perfectly for it to be viable against the squids. However, against the bots, it was much more fun. Most of the bots are medium enemies, with the exceptions of hulks, like scout striders, factory striders, blah blah blah. And it is useful against all of those medium enemies. Even the chicken walkers will go down with one shot, and it does require a little bit more precise aiming than the other weapons. When this is only really good for small to medium enemies, I don't know why you wouldn't just take the grenade launcher, because I could have taken out that crowd of berserkers in about 3 seconds. It is rewarding when you get those headshots with the railgun, but I don't think it's worth the pain of missing shots and spending 15 shots to try and take down one enemy sometimes. You do get cool moments like this, but again, the grenade launcher would have just dealt with this a lot quicker. And I don't want to seem like I'm just slating the weapon for the sake of slating it. I did enjoy using it. I did enjoy capturing this little bit of gameplay. I do enjoy taking down the hulks with it. But I would enjoy taking these down with any of the other weapons in about a third of the time. I understand Arrowhead needed to balance the weapon, but nerfing it into oblivion was just a little bit too far. But this clip captures what the railgun used to feel like, so you can still get moments like this of that perfect precision, switching target to target, explosions going off left and right, protecting your teammate whilst he's getting a reload off, and saving the day. That's what the railgun was all about. Over on Planet Bugtown, this thing still works great. It is still an extremely viable support weapon against the bugs, with most of the bugs being small to medium, and this support weapon being mostly effective against the small to medium targets. This is still perfectly viable. It can and consistently one-shots all of the small to medium enemies, from the Brood Commanders, Alpha Commanders and the Hive Guards. It means you can clear a bug patrol fairly quickly as long as you don't miss your shots. However, with the Bile Titans I spent about 30 seconds firing at these two before very quickly losing my patience. There it is, there's the wiggle. And again with the chargers, it isn't worth wasting the ammo on. But as you'll see here, this is what the weapon is good for. Finding yourself a nice little vantage point and picking off these Brood Commanders one by one. In summary, yes, the Railgun is still a viable choice, but only against small to medium enemies and hulks. It's borderline useless against the squids though, as single fire weapons that don't take down an enemy in one shot are not even worth entertaining bringing with you. However, against the bots and the bugs, there is still a democratic amount of fun to be had. It does still feel like the old Railgun at times. It reminds me of watching your childhood dog grow old. It's still the same dog, just with a little less get up and go. but there is life in the old dog yet, and given a little bit of patience, they can still make you smile. Just don't expect him to chase down a charger and chew its leg armour off anymore. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.